あと何人残ってる？ひーふーみー。
Hey guys, what's up? This is Benjamin from Combo Kings, bringing you an unboxing of the Challenger decks. New decks that came out today, April 6th, and I'm going to bring you an unboxing of each one of these today in one lonely video so that you can enjoy them all at once. So we're going to start here with Hazard Aggro Challenger deck. It says here, contents, if you want to read them, 60 card decks, 50 card sideboard, spin down life counter, and it says so here in the description. Play an aggressive game with hasty creatures and burn spells, turning your extra cards into more direct damage when the game goes long. Keep your opponents on the defensive and finish the game before they can even get started. So let's get to unpacking. So unpacking this this deck. There we go. So each of these decks, if anybody is interested out there on buying them, they are $30 right now at your friendly local game store. So comes with this nifty little deck box that you can actually use. It's really sturdy cardboard, the Planeswalker symbol right there. So let's see what we get. So we got the red spin down. The number 20 is substituted here with a Planeswalker symbol. And here we have the sideboard. Main deck. We got the quick reference guide, and we have a fold out. It says Challenger deck. It also comes with the divider so that you can use this box without this to store your sleeved deck. This apparently holds 65 sleeved cards, so we're gonna leave these inside for purposes of the video. So let's get to the unboxing. Let's open up this deck. So let's see, I believe deck, yep. So I'm going to organize this deck into playsets and I'll be back. So here we are, organized into playsets, and let's get to the deck. I'm not going to go over the commons and uncommons, I'm going to go mostly over the rares and mythics on this deck. So first card on this deck is Hazard the Fervent. Hazard the Fervent is a legendary creature god for 3 mana and a red. There we go. It has 5/4, indestructible in haste. Hazard the Fervent can't attack or block unless you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. 2 and a red, discard a card. Hazard deals 2 damage to each opponent. So this will work great with the mechanic of the deck, which is basically just dropping creatures all over the battlefield and lowering your hand so that you can actually attack with this great creature. The next MVP of this deck is Chandra, Torch of Defiance, Planeswalker, for 2 and 2 red. It says here, +1, exile the top card of your library. You may cast that card. If you don't, Chandra, Torch of Defiance deals 2 damage to each opponent. Second +1 says add 2 red to your mana pool. -3 says Chandra, Torch of Defiance deals 4 damage to target creature. And -7 says you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, this emblem deals 5 damage to target creature or player. So this will work out actually also great with the burn mechanic on this deck, which is actually very present. So the next rare we have is Harsh Mentor, which we get 3 of. And it says the following. It's a creature human cleric for 1 and a red. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield, if it isn't a mana ability, Harsh Mentor deals 2 damage to that player. So this starts playing with the burn mechanic of the deck. Next rare, Soulscar Mage, for a single red, a 1/2 creature human wizard. It has prowess. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a creature an opponent controls, put that many -1/-1 counters on that creature instead. So we get 3 of those. Next we have Glory Bringer. It's a 4/4, 4/3, and 2 red creature dragon. Flying and haste. You may exert Glory Bringer as it attacks. When you do, it deals 4 damage to target non-dragon creature an opponent controls. So this is a great card. We get only one of those. Next we get another rare, Karisev Skyship Raider. It's a 1/3 legendary creature for 1 and a red. It has first strike and menace. Whenever Karisev Skyship Raider attacks, create a legendary 2/1 red monkey creature token named Ragavan that's tapped and attacking. Exile that token at the end of combat. So we get 3 of her. Next, we have Bomat Carrier, a 1/1 artifact creature for 1. It has haste. Whenever Bomat Courier attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. You can't look at it. And for a red, you discard your hand, you sacrifice Bomat Courier, and put all cards exiled with Bomat Courier into their owner's hands. So this card will actually refill your hand when you're low on it, so your main goal will be to attack with this card and just fill it up with cards exiled under it, and then refill your hand. So we get 4 of that amazing card. Next, we get into the commons and uncommons. We have Fanatical Firebrand, 4 of those. And Crop Crasher. I'm going to leave it there if you want to pause it and read it. We get 4 of those as well. We have Shock. We get a playset of those actually. Lightning Strike. We get 4 of those as well. A Braid. We have 2 of those. Magma Spray. We have 2 of those. Then we have the lands. We have 4 Sunscorched Desert. I'm going to leave it there if you want to read it. It's great. When Sunscorched Desert enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target creature, again, target player. Again, playing with the burn mechanic in this deck, and you can add a waste or colorless mana to your mana pool. So we get 4 of those, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 basic mountains. So that is the deck. Very aggressive, very interesting mechanics on this deck. I think this will do very well. Its intended purpose, which is to actually make as a jumpstart product to your FNM. So here we go to the sideboard. Let's see what we get here. And we actually get a rare as our first sideboard card. It says Karizev's Expertise. It's a sorcery for 1 and 2 red. Gain control of target creature or vehicle until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. And you may cast a card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So, real good card. We got only 1 of those apparently. So the next card we get is Key to the City, another rare. It's an artifact for 2. Tap it. Tap this card. Discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. Whenever Key to the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2 colorless. If you do, draw a card. So, great card. We got 1 of those. Then we have another legendary creature. It's a 2/2 for 2 and a red, PNLR, legendary creature, human artificer. When PNLR enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. For 1 and a red, target artifact creature gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. And for 1, sacrifice an artifact. Target creature can't block this turn. So we get 2 of these. It'll work with the tokens we create. Another Key to the City. Another Karizev's Expertise. We have Sentinel Totem. We get 3 of those. We have Chandra's Defeat. We get 4 of those. And we get 2 extra Magma Sprays. So those were the cards in the Hazard Aggro deck. I'm actually going to separate these with the divider provided in the box so that I can keep unboxing the rest of the decks. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. So let's move on to the next deck, which will be Vehicle Rush. Unlike the first deck, this is actually a tricolor deck with red, white, and black colors. So let's see what we get in this awesome deck. So the wrapper is off. Let's open this up. Actually, let's see the back real quick. Read the description. Cast powerful vehicles early and accrue them with low-cost creatures to launch a speedy assault. Get extra momentum from your artifact synergies and use targeted removal to keep your opponent board clear as you crash through their defenses. So we actually see that we get Heart of Kiran in this deck. I believe we get 3 of those. So let's see what we get. So in the box, see what spin down we got. We got a speckled black Planeswalker symbol right there. So same as the other, I'm only gonna take out the deck and the actual other things. And this one actually no, unless it's somewhere around here. We actually did not get the Challenger decks insert. So let's put this to the side, get this out of the way. So let's start with the actual unboxing of the cards. So let's start with the deck. This deck is very interesting. I've never actually played with vehicles before. The crew mechanic seems very interesting to me. So I'm going to organize these into playsets as I did with the first deck, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so we're back. Actually, they were organized into playsets. I was looking through the deck, and this deck looks actually amazing. It has a lot of rares and a lot of good cards in it. So first we start with this mythic. It says Sky Sovereign Console Flagship. It's a 6/5 legendary artifact vehicle for 5. It has flying. And whenever Sky Sovereign Console Flagship enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent's controls. And it has crew 3. Next card we actually have here is a playset of Bowmat Courier. We actually know what this card does. We actually read this on the Hazard Aggro deck. Great card. Next card we get is Toolcraft Exemplar. It's a 1/1 creature Dwarf Artificer for 1 white. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control an artifact, Toolcraft Exemplar gets +2/+1 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more artifacts, it also gains first strike until end of turn. So great synergy with the whole deck. It has a lot of artifact vehicles, so you get a playset of those. Next rare we get is Scrap Heap Scrounger. It's a 3/2 for 2 artifact creature construct. Scrap Heap Scrounger can't block. So actually the opposite of Defender. So 1 in a black, exile another creature card from your graveyard, return Scrap Heap Scrounger from your graveyard to the battlefield. Great card. So we get 4 of those. Amazing. Next card is the legendary creature PNLR. We actually saw in the Hazard Aggro deck. It actually plays a lot with artifacts as well, and it has this awesome creature, so this awesome ability, 1 in a red, target artifact creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and you can actually make one unblockable by sacrificing an artifact. It does not say it cannot be a non-token. It has to be non-token, so you can actually sacrifice the non-token, the token card you make with PNLR. So we get 2 of those. Next we have the Paula Pilot Exemplar, the actual card that is on the cover of this deck. It is a 3/3 legendary creature Dwarf Pilot for 1, a red and a white. So it has other dwarves you control get +1/+1. Each vehicle you control gets +1/+1 as long as it's a creature, so if you use the crew ability. And whenever the Paula Pilot Exemplar becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards of your library, put all dwarf and vehicle cards from among them into your hand, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So playing with vehicles again, this deck has great synergy. So the next card is actually, I was surprised, there's a playset of Heart of Kiran in this deck. So it's a 4/4 for 2 legendary artifact vehicle. It has flying and vigilance, and it has crew 3. So basically what this says is tap any number of creatures you control with total power of 3 or more. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. You may remove a loyalty counter from a planeswalker you control rather than pay Heart of Kiran's crew cost. This is amazing. It would actually play a lot with the Chandra Planeswalker on the first deck, and you can actually add it here to get some added synergy. So we got a playset of that. Next rare, as I said, there's a lot of rares in this deck. We have Cultivator's Caravan. It's a 5/5 artifact vehicle for 3. You tap it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. And it has crew 3, so very good. We have Aether Spear Harvester. It's a 3/5 artifact vehicle for 3. Is that it has flying, and whenever Aether Spear Harvester enters a battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. You pay 1, and Aether Sphere Harvester gains lifelink until end of turn. It has crew 1, so it's easier to make it an artifact creature. Next rare we have is actually a land. We get 4 of those. It's Spire of Industry. So tap, add a waste or colorless to your mana pool, and you tap, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if you control artifact, which, if you're playing this deck, you will almost always have an artifact with you on the battlefield. So I was really surprised to see this. This is Dragon Skull Summit. It's a dual color black and red land, really basic. We all know what to do, but it says Dragon Skull Summit enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp or a mountain, and you tap it to add any of those colors to your mana pool. So really good land to have in this deck, especially if it's 3 colored. So we also have Inspiring Vantage. It enters the battlefield unless you control 2 or fewer other lands, and you tap it to add a red or white mana. We actually also have Concealed Courtyard. It does the same as Inspiring Vantage, except it is for black and white mana. So that's where the rares end, and here we actually get to the commons and uncommons. So again, I'm gonna get them close so that you can pause them if you want to read them. So we have Veteran Motorist. We get 4 of those. We have Unlicensed Disintegration. We get 4 of those as well. Lightning Strike. We get 4 of those. Aether Hub. 3 of those. Unclaimed Territory. 3 of those. Evolving Wilds. Good for searching for basic lands. So we have 2 of those. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic plains, 1, 2, 3 basic mountains, and 1 basic swamp. So that's basically the main deck. We're actually going to put this in the box where it belongs while we unbox the other products here. And let's see what the sideboard holds for us. So in the sideboard we have another Aether Sphere Harvester. We get Harsh Mentor, which we actually saw in the Hazoret deck. We get 3 of those. Great. Crook of Condemnation, an uncommon. I'm going to leave it there if you want to read it. We have Duris, classic card, new art. That's great. We got 4 copies of those. Chandra's Defeat, which we actually also saw in the Hazoret deck. 2 more Magma Sprays, again from the Hazoret deck. And Cast Out, great card. So basically that was the Vehicle Rush deck. It's really good synergies with the vehicles and the creatures. It's really good. It seems really great. Actually, the rares don't actually dictate if a deck will be good, but having that number of rares and the synergy between them is actually great. So the next deck we're gonna see is Second Sun Control. So it's a blue-white control deck with Kefnet right there at the top. So it says, do whatever it takes to stay alive until you can cast a second Approach of the Second Sun and win on the spot. Counter your opponent's key spells and neutralize any threats your opponents land on the battlefield as you build toward victory. So it's based on this card right here, which it actually has 3 of. It's a really good card. So do the same with the other decks. Let's unbox this, see what it has in store for us. So here we have the box. same as always. This one actually has a green spin down die. It's good. It's actually speckled green and blue. So again, take this out of the way. And all the contents, so we see the sideboard. This one actually had the Challenger deck insert, so that goes away. And here we have the main deck, starting off with Settle the Wreckage. So let's put this to the side, get to the deck. This will turn out to be a long video, but I hope the enjoyment that comes out of actually seeing the 4 decks in only one video is enough. So let's see if we have to put this into playsets. Apparently not. So let's get on with it. Settle the Wreckage, first card. It's an instant for 2 and 2 white. It says, exile all attacking creatures target player controls. That player may search his or her library for those many basic land cards. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle his or her library. So it's kind of it's a two-edged knife, I'd say. So we have Fumigate for 3 and 2 white. It says, destroy all creatures. You gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. Great lifelink. It works with the control because if actually you don't have the cards to control your opponent on the spot, you can actually gain life and take some more hits than you actually would take. So we have 3 copies of that. Approach the Second Sun, 3 copies. So this is the main card of the deck. It costs 7 mana, 6 of which are colorless, 1 of which is white. So it's a sorcery. If Approach of the Second Sun was cast from your hand and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach of the Second Sun into its owner's library 7th from the top and you gain 7 life. Again, lifelink, controlling your opponent, making him sweat as you actually go towards that draw of the second Approach to the Second Sun and you win the game. Next, we have Kefnet the Mindful. It's a 5/5 legendary creature god for 2 and a blue. It has flying and indestructible. Kefnet the Mindful can't attack or block unless you have 7 or more cards in hand. 3 and a blue. Draw a card, then you may return a land you control to its owner's hand. So this ability actually confuses me a little, but it seems to work towards drawing cards and returning lands to your hand so that you can play them again at the same turn. It basically gives you 2 draws when you actually have all the lands you need to run the deck. So we have Irrigated Farmland. It's a land, plains, island. So you tap it to add blue or white to your mana pool. And Irrigated Farmland enters the battlefield tapped. You can actually cycle it for 2 and draw a card. So we get a playset of those. Awesome. We have Opt, which is the first common of the deck. So I'm going to do the same as I've been doing with the other decks. So I'm going to leave it there so that you can actually pause the video and read it. We have a playset of that. Either Meltdown. We have 4 of those. Censor. We get 4 of those as well. A lot of synergy in these decks, not like intro packs or Planeswalker decks. Supreme Will. 4 of those as well. Awesome. Cast Out, great card. We get 4 of those. Renewed Faith. 1 of those. Glimmer of Genius. Playset of that. So we have Farm and Market. 1 of those. Field of Ruins. We're getting into the lands. So we get 2 of those. We get Ipnu Rivulet. Awesome. We get 2 of those. And now we get into the basic lands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 basic islands and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 basic plains. So awesome. Now we're gonna get into the sideboard of the deck. These decks actually are a good entry point to any Magic the Gathering new player because it actually gives you an opportunity on Friday Night Magic with these awesome builds. They will do very, very much better than Planeswalker decks alone. These decks can actually, if you have to play them, if you actually get to play them well and you actually upgrade them a little bit, they can actually win you Friday Night Magics on their own for just $30 is great value. So on the sideboard we get Kefnet the Mindful. We have one more copy of him. We have Regal Caracal, another rare we haven't read yet. So it's a 3/3 creature cat for 3 and 2 white. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. And when Regal Caracal enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. So that's amazing. For the cost of this cat, you can make actually 2 more cats, which will actually be 2/2 with the ability of this great card. So 4 of those, amazing. Glyph Keeper. So this is a 5/3 creature Sphinx for 3 and 2 blue. It has flying, and whenever Glyph Keeper becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, counter that spell or ability. And actually has Embalm for 5 and 2 blue. So it's basically the ability which lets this come back as a copy, except it's a zombie. So that's an amazing card. We have 2 of that. Then we have Spell Pierce. We have 2 of those. We have Negate with that awesome art from Either Revolt. We get 4 of those. And then we have 2 more Renewed Fates. So that was the Approach the Second Sun, or Second Sun control deck. Amazing control deck. So these, I assume, will actually have a great synergy to play against each other. So I'd recommend buying 4 of these, 1 for each friend of yours, or just getting together and buying all 4 and trying them out, as I did with these decks. So the 4th and final deck is Counter Surge, a black and green deck. So on the back it says, power up your creatures with bonus +1/+1 counters from Winding Constrictor and fill the board with resilient creatures that keep growing larger. Leverage the counters for both utility and raw strength, then crush your opponents with your superior resources. So let's see what this deck has in store for us today. This is the last deck of this unboxing. As always, I bought this deck from ISD Gaming in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, where they are at MSRP actually, not like many online retailers that actually have marked up the price of Hazard Aggro. So again, the box, really handy. Let's see what spin down we get on this one. We actually got the white spin down. Awesome. Let's see if I can find, here you go. So there's the white spin down. And let's get the contents out. So we get the sideboard, divider, magic, quick start guide, which actually I do not recommend. I would actually, if I want to learn how to play Magic with one of these decks, I would actually just go to the internet and search for a tutorial there. Those quick start guides are not actually teaching you how to play. So let's go for the deck. So let's see, I believe I do not have to organize these either. Nope, apparently not. So let's see, we have Walking Ballista. The first rare, it's a 0/0 for XX, artifact creature construct. It says, Walking Ballista enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. You pay 4, and you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, Walking Ballista, and you remove a +1/+1 counter. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. That is not a once per turn. You can actually remove 10 and deal 10. So awesome. Giving some utility to those +1/+1 counters. Then we have Glint Sleeve Siphoner, the actual card on the top of the deck, on the cover. It's a 2/1 for 1 and a black creature human rogue. It has Menace. Whenever Glint Sleeve Siphoner enters a battlefield or attacks, you get an energy counter. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2 energy counters. If you do, you draw a card and you lose a life. So draw power, my friends, draw power. So we have a play set of that. Then we have Scrap Heap Scrounger. It's an artifact creature construct. It's 3/2 for 2 colorless. it can't block, and 1 and a black, exile another creature card from your graveyard, return Scrap Heap Scrounger from your graveyard to the battlefield. So I think we actually saw this on the Vehicle Rush deck, so we have 2 of those here. Next we have Riskar, Pima Renegade. It's a 2/2 for 2 and a green, legendary creature, elf druid. When Riskar Pima Renegade enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Each creature you control with a counter on it has tap add a green mana to your mana pool. So that's amazing for getting out your huge creatures, as green always seems to find a way to do. We have 3 of that. Next we have Dreamstealer. It's a 1/2 for 2 black creature human wizard. It has menace, and whenever Dreamstealer deals combat damage to a player, that player discards that many cards. Eternalize, it has 4 and 2 black, so it's almost like Embalm, except it comes out with a fixed value. It's a 4/4 black zombie human wizard with no mana cost. So that's a great way of scaring your opponent. It always keeps coming out. We have 3 of those. So Gonti, Lord of Luxury. It's a 2/3 legendary creature for 2 and 2 black. It has Death Touch. When Gonti, Lord of Luxury, enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library, exile 1 of them face down, then put the rest on the bottom of that library in a random order. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, you may cast it, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast it. So actually, very good card. I've seen this card go against the Second Sun Control in a video, and it actually destroyed the plan to play the second approach of the Second Sun, and it was actually devastating. So here we have a mythic. We have the 3 of Verdurous Gearhulk. It's a 4/4 for 3 and 2 green, and it has Trample. When Verdurous Gearhulk enters the battlefield, distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. So this is the main, or I'd say almost main, +1/+1 counter generator on this deck. It gives the utility of the many cards. It gets the synergy of the +1/+1 counters. It's amazing. So we have 3 of that in this deck. Next we have Hour of Glory. It's an instant for 3 and a black. Exile target creature. If that creature was a god, its controller reveals his or her hand and exiles all cards from it with the same name as that creature. So it gets rid of the Hazards, gets rid of the Kefnets. Devastating. So here we get into the commons and uncommons. As always, I will leave the card there for a single second or so that you can actually take a peek at it. So we have Longtusk Cub, 4 of. We have Winding Constrictor. We have 4 of that. Blossoming Defense, great card. We get 4 of those. Walk the Plank. We have 2 of those, and we have the Single Fatal Push, which is a great instant. Next we have lands, so we have Ether Hub, 4 of those. Then we have Foul Orchard. Hashep Oasis, a desert land, 2 of those. Then we get into our basics, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 basic swamps, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 basic forests. So let's get into the final part of this video, which is the sideboard. This deck. Let's see what we get here. So we have Dispossess, a rare sorcery for 2 and a black. It says, choose an artifact card name. Search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the chosen name and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. Awesome card against those pesky artifact decks. Life Transfers Vestiary. For 3 colorless, we have an artifact, a rare. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may pay a green. If you do, draw a card. Amazing draw power. So we have 2 of those. Then we get into more commons and uncommons. We have Die Young. Great art on that card. We have 2 of those. Cartouche of Ambition. We have 3 of those. Dearest. We have 4 of those, of course. Appetite for the Unnatural. We have 2 of those. And then we get Slice in Twain, which is the final card of these awesome Challenger decks. So thank you all for watching this long video. I hope you enjoyed the actual unboxing of the decks and the small review of them. And as always, I will ask you to like and subscribe for our Combo Kings channel. We will be getting out more and more MTG content as soon as we can get our hands on more content. But this is what we have for you today. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.